Alright, friends, I hope you are excited because jagsyfox is here with Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D No Wrong Warp.
Good morning! I'm here with my co-commentator Rick, ready to save the world, etc. So what we're going to do is, if we're ready, I'm going to jump straight in, and then I'll do the introduction stuff, because we have a 3-minute cutscene at the beginning, and I don't really want to spend ages just watching it. So if we're ready on the timer? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. So we have a massive cutscene here. If you've never played this game before, A, you've made a mistake, just to put it out there. B, this is a remake of the 2000 game Majora's Mask on the N64 for the 3DS. I am playing on a real 3DS here. You can see I have my mini cables. Yeah, capturing it. I have a very specially built 3DS just for streaming games off it, instead of doing like a funky method where you use a webcam on top of it. And although it's a remake of the N64 game, it is a very different run. Like, I don't think a single glitch is shared between the two, which, good and bad. You miss some of the really nice glitches, but there's also some very shiny new ones, which is why we can finish it in 2 hours.
You were saying that this is quite a technical game in that respect, and some of the glitches can be a little bit tricky to perform.
Yes, so there's several frame perfect ones, which when we come up to it, I'll explain a bit more about how it's trivial to do frame perfect inputs in this game, which is very lucky, because games like Wind Waker, it's not very easy at all. I think this is the easiest game in the series for it, which is lucky. But yeah, the story carries on from Ocarina of Time, so it's the same Link. I imagine more people are familiar with Ocarina of Time. And he gets lost in Termina, which is going to be destroyed in 3 days. And in the normal playthrough, you'd take several days, you'd go back in time, you'd come through. What we're going to do is we're going to try and do it entirely in the second cycle. You see me hammering away here. There's actually quick text in this game, but you have to mash very quickly. Which is why the languages doesn't matter at all, because I think it saves like 5 seconds to go into Japanese or something ridiculously short like that. You see, I'm just casually getting mugged.
Like you do.
Like happens, you know, you just riding your horse through the woods, some dude wearing a mask nicks your ocarina. I'm sure it's happened to all of us at one point.
Cheeky.
Yeah, the other thing about this game is it borrows everything from Ocarina of Time, all the models. So Skull Kid, Epona, even the fairies, that's stolen from Ocarina of Time. Because they only made this game in a year, which is very technically impressive for the time. Given Breath of the Wild 2 also uses Breath of the Wild's assets and it's taken 6 years.
I was going to say, this looks lovely. I've never seen the 3DS version before. It looks really nice.
That nice smooth 30 frames per second.
There's also some nice graphics enhancements in the HUD. For people who've played the N64 one, they'll notice that the timer for the days is different on this, but it actually looks a bit better.
It doesn't take up half the bottom screen. So we have 2 seconds of gameplay here, where I walk over to the next cutscene. If you see me looking up, although I'm playing on the 3DS, I try and look at the actual monitor because I don't want to hurt my neck, which is very smart when you're doing like a couple of runs in a day. And you spend all day like this, and at the end of the day, just feel all down here sore. So I'm trying to avoid that. Unless I get my nice big resolution monitor to play on.
That's so good. It's really important to pay attention to your posture for your health for long gaming sessions. Absolutely.
Everyone doing a posture check on using my points on stream should know. I am very much considering it. So what happens here is Skull Kid is a little bit of a trouble child, and he's going to curse Link. And this is actually a nightmare based on the developer's actual dreams. He has a recurring nightmare of something like this happening. and he just built it into the game.
Matt, like, who needs therapy? Just make video games.
I imagine after making this game in EA, he probably did need therapy. To be fair.
It is kind of terrifying. For me, it's one of the most terrifying of the games in the Zelda series, for sure.
Apparently, the creator said that he didn't want to remake the game because he didn't want to revisit it because it was such like a unique time where he built it in a year that he didn't really know how to revisit it. And certainly critics have said they probably shouldn't have because they made a lot of changes to this game. Good and bad. I mostly like them. I prefer this version, but there's a lot of people who really don't like it for very much a lot of the changes. Like the way the HUD is done. Time passes differently in this compared to the original.
Oh, wow.
They changed Zora swimming. They changed all the boss designs, basically, as well.
Really?
Yeah, they made a bunch of changes to this game.
Wow.
I prefer most of them, but not everyone could have good taste like me.
Did they even change the boss names? The boss names stay the same, and they changed the designs.
Yeah, they just changed the designs to give them all big eyes. Basically.
There's a lot of big eyes in this game.
There's a lot of big eyes.
Just made them all like, ooh.
Yeah, but with one eye, it's just, oh.
Yes.
It's just, oh, there's no whoa. Alright, so we've had a question in the chat of how the time passes differently between the versions, how the time passes.
So in this run, if you slow down time goes 1/3 the speed, whereas in the original it only goes half the speed. So in this game, if you slow down time, you have a lot more time in a cycle compared to in the original. Which is why, if you have a look like the 100% run of this game, they do most of the run in the second cycle because you got so much time. But I'm not even going to slow down time at all because I'm a rebel. I'm just going to do it all in one go.
I mean, and this is a speedrun, so you gotta go fast.
Exactly. So I'm going to attempt to do a hop here, and if I get it wrong, I'm going to be really embarrassed because it only saves like 2 frames or something like that. But you can go like that and grab that ledge instead of flying across.
Nicely done.
It looks cool, but then you mess it up and feel bad because it wastes so much time, but it saves so little.
First trick of the game, everybody.
Yes, a side hop. If you've seen the original run of this game, you'll know the cutscene coming up by here is skippable, because in the original, you could pause frame perfectly, and cutscenes in the original take 2 frames to get off, whereas in this game, because you have to pause using the touchscreen takes 2 frames to activate, so we couldn't frame perfectly pause. And we don't have the capacity to pause yet anyway, because we don't have the bomber notebook. But the fact that the touchscreen takes 2 frames to activate and the buttons take 1 is actually really handy for a couple of tricks, because you can perform 2 actions at once by pressing the touchscreen and pressing a button at the same time. That first cycle is very famous in speedruns of this game, because it is a 20-minute section with very little skips. There is a way of getting out of Clock Town in this game on first cycle, but it is very difficult and not very marathon safe, I don't think. And if you get it wrong, you have to restart, so probably not ideal. It's a shame, because in the original, you could get out of Clock Town by just walking backwards at a guard. And he's like, ooh, backwards walking, I can't handle that, and just lets you go past. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go pass as much time as possible. So if you've played this game and been stuck because you're waiting for first cycle to end, you can talk to Grandma in the Stockpot Inn, and you can fast forward to day 3 by about the 9-minute mark, which is very handy. Didn't really want to spin there. Really? Just casually walking into people. As you do.
See, there's a question in the chat about if the fairy is Navi. I believe it's a different fairy this time, isn't it?
It is Tattle. The point of this game was looking for Navi. who disappeared at the end of Ocarina of Time. So we have Tattle, who's basically Navi, but Tattle instead.
Got an attitude.
Yeah. Although we do use Tattle for a trick, which is nice, so good she's about, really. She? They? Presumed she. So yeah, now we're on day 3. Now, if you've done this casually, you know that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hunt down the bombers, get the bomber's notebook, get a code, use the code, go get the moon's tear, go use the moon's tear on that dude by there, in that flower, to climb up. So, you know, there's supposed to be a few things to do in the first cycle. I'm not going to do any of that. So instead, I'm going to get to the final night of the final day as quickly as possible, then get on top of the tower, and then we get to stand around and wait for about a minute.
Waiting in a speedrun game?
It is unfortunate.
Now, see, I have this song set as my ringtone, so anytime anybody's playing a Zelda game and I hear it, I'm like, oh, my phone!
I always had, for my alarm in the morning for work, I always used the theme from Outset Island from Wind Waker. So it was a nice way to wake up, but then every time a run started, I'd be like, oh, dude.
I had my text tone as the Metal Gear Solid Alert theme for a little while, and that
So
caused a few starts.
So now I need to head back over to West Clocktown to grab the stray fairy that's kicking about there.
I love how many people in the chat are like talking about their own foolish tone or sound assigning decisions up to their stress level in life.
When you're given this power, you abuse it.
You said what you don't want to do is you don't want to set it to like a heavy metal song and then forget to turn your alarm, and then 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning suddenly like Bring Me the Horizon blasts out. You're like, what the fuck? Let's see, this fine gentleman by here, Tingle. What a fine looking man this is.
Oh, Tingle.
This game being the one he was introduced in, and then Wind Waker being the game that ruined him for everyone because he cost you so much money.
He was a real scam artist in Wind Waker.
It was so rude.
Gotta say, to the person in the chat who said that their text tone is Navi saying listen for their wife, that's just genius.
That is genius. I just realised I forgot to go get the 100 rupees from the stock pot in. I mean, it wastes no time to go get it back now, but...
There's so many terrifying aspects to this game. You know, learning that it was based on a nightmare just makes so much sense.
Especially the transitions between masks when you're putting them on.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a few ways of doing the way first cycle works, and basically it's down to preference. My preference is I'm going to go back to stock point, I'm going to grab 100 rupees and drop it in the bank, and then at the start of the second cycle, I'm just going to go buy the bombs. Because then you just start with a full bomb bag, which is very handy because you need them in this game.
It's kind of like a Zelda horror game, then. Like,
Pretty
if you
much.
think about it, yeah.
So now, sort of unfortunately, we have the point where not a lot happens. So we have to wait until midnight. And providing I don't completely mess up getting on top of the tower, we're gonna be kicking about for a bit. So we definitely have some time for donations if anyone's wallet is feeling heavy.
All right, well, just in case you're just joining us, or maybe if you don't know, I'd love to tell everybody about Team Fastest Furs. We are a group of furry speedrunners dedicated to building a strong community that is welcoming and open to all. We currently host 2 online charity speedrun marathons per year in the spring and the fall, and community events throughout the year. For more information, join us on our Discord by using the command !Discord in chat. And just a little reminder to everybody that all revenue from Twitch subscriptions and cheered bits received during Fastest Furs Fight for Abortion Rights will be donated to the Midwest Access Coalition. Go fast and get yourself our Fastest Furs emotes now. They are flippin' adorable, friends. If you have not seen them, some just absolutely cute as heck emotes are available right now. You're going to want to get those donations in. Don't forget to see if you have your free Prime Gaming sub available too.
I know I used mine for the emotes.
I absolutely used mine as well. Yeah. Oh, and we're
Okay.
seeing some of those adorable emotes in chat. Excellent.
My Prime sub is free. Yep, that's done. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see there that I did what's called a twisted backflip, where if you backflip, let go, and then press L again, like within sequential frames, you can do a twisted jump that'll grab that ledge, which means that we don't have to do any of the Moon Tears quests. We can just grab onto this bit, which is very handy. I was going to do it again to show off, but then I looked at the time and I was like,
Be pretty clutch.
And if you do the clock tower escape, you come back to here for midnight, and then you have to do it like straight away. I don't think I'll get to show off the glitch you used to escape, but basically the flowers that you can climb into, if you blow up a bomb on the same frame you jump into one, for some reason you just shoot off inside the flower. We don't use it in this run, really, other than for that now. And there is another place you could use it, but I don't. But it does look very strange, because you just see this little flower pod just scooting along the floor. I'd love it. If anyone's played Majora's Mask, what they did the first time they played this game and got to this point, because it is not immediately clear. Especially if you forgot to get magic for some reason. Which I think is possible to get to this point without magic. Oh no, actually you can't, because you can't blow up the balloon. But I've certainly nearly forgotten to get magic on speedruns, because you don't need it to get to this point.
Ooh, one of the fairies mentioned a brother. I mean, the text is going by pretty fast, so we have a gender for one of the fairies, right? The purple one is male.
Yeah, so Tails male, so we assume it's brother and sister. I believe there's some text put in context to it.
Alright, tell me that fairy's name again, unless it's a terribly bad time.
Tattle, so T-A-T-L.
Tattle.
Now we have the Song of Time, which you think would be very handy in this game, but it's basically not used at all.
Yeah, there we go. Tattle, sister. Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, either I play it safe and I don't play the Song of Half Time to slow down time, or I just go all out and just try and do it in one cycle without slowing down time. It depends how brave I'm feeling, but we should be okay. So those song notes by there, you can put them in frame perfectly. And because of the way they do the check to make sure you played the right song, there's one frame where you can put... There's only one frame, I've not had it yet, because there's one frame where you can put in a note when it's still picking up, so you can do like the Song of Time, then put in an extra Y by accident, and the game will detect it and say you played the song wrong, just because it's got that one frame where it's like double checking you played the right song. Yes, learning to play songs that quickly does take a lot of time. Although try doing this, then going back to like the original Majora's Mask and trying to remember how to play songs with like the C buttons. Except the Song of Time, which I still know off the top of my head from the original.
Muscle memory is a thing.
I was gonna say that muscle memory kicks in.
I played this game so much as a kid that I've memorized the Song of Time on the N64 controller. It's weird because I never finished it as a kid. I always used to get past the first dungeon, and then I would just restart again. We're now out of first cycle, but we're not out of the woods yet because we've got to go talk to the Happy Mask Salesman again and have a long cutscene which explains why Majora's Mask is so bad and makes us question if the Happy Mask Salesman is a good guy. Because he's like, this mask was super powerful and it endangered the world, so naturally I went and dug it up. And you're like, probably not the best plan you've ever had.
He's really happy when you come back and realise that you don't have the mask too.
Yes, and I think the if the scene cuts right, you can see the Mario mask on the back of his backpack. I also like how they very purposely set it up so that his transitions are really weird, like they cut frame to frame where he's in completely different positions.
Really good point. I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah, to try and make him look as like unnatural as possible, he goes like really quickly between his poses. So he lean forward and then the next frame he'll be leaning back and then he's like sat over there kind of thing. I see me mashing away. Yeah, you can see the Mario mask on the back by there, as well as the Elvis mask, I guess.
Yeah, we'll say it's Elvis.
Yeah, this cutscene.
On the bottom right?
Yeah.
This cutscene, it doesn't look skippable, but mashing actually does make it go quicker because the text at the bottom, will come up quicker if you're mashing, but it just doesn't look like it's going any quicker. Yeah, guys have definitely put a lot of work into this game to make. If they made cutscenes skippable, it would have been perfect. It's I think the only thing that's really missing from this speedrun. You see there, like, how quickly he jumps between his different poses.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. The other change they made, which is a pain, is the Bomber's Notebook. In the original, you get given it in the second cycle by the Bombers, whereas he gives it to you straight away, and it's supposed to be a quest tracking system. But what it is a pain, because the cutscene when you get an entry is super long, and if you're speedrunning, you don't need it. Like all masks, for example, where it comes up a lot, you lose a lot of time.
I will say, I thought that mask kind of looked like a really depressed Lupin the Third. Elvis one. Think of your favorite character with epic sideburns. He kind of has epic sideburns.
Right, so here I'm going to drop a safety save. I'm going to be doing a lot of those through the run. Because I've got a trick coming up that uses a bunch of frame buffering, and frame buffering in this game is a little dangerous. It's not really super common, but there is a chance that the entire console will crash when you home buffer. So we try to avoid doing it. It's very handy, but you don't really want to do it too much, because you can completely just... And it's not even the game crashes, it's the console crashes. Those. I got all the tech guys in the background going, it does what now? Trying to talk to that kid.
It's for this marathon's purposes, heck them kids.
So yeah, I'm gonna... The second quickest method of getting around this game is backwalking. There is a quicker method, which we will see in about 20 minutes, I want to say. But for now, my quickest method, thank you, is doing that. But unfortunately, because this controller doesn't have notches, it's actually very difficult to get off.
That enemy was also terrifying.
So here, I'm gonna concentrate a second. Oh,
So this is the
Very good.
bomb time stop, sorry.
yeah.
So just to explain what Jags is doing here, basically you can use the recoil damage and frame perfect ocarina to pull the camera into first person mode, and then you skip a cutscene. And so what he's doing here is...
Hang on, I'll get it now.
This is the thing with having to be frame perfect.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So, the way that works is that it basically forces the game into first-person view by pulling the ocarina and taking damage at the same time. And the nice thing there is that cutscenes can't activate, which is really handy because there's a cutscene there that's about 2.5 minutes long. So even though it took me 3 attempts, which is kind of depressing because normally I'm pretty quick at it, marathon stuff, just standard marathon stuff, you can actually get it really quickly. And another really big change they made here, which is also very handy, is the song that is coming up by here, the Song of Soaring. They moved from right by the Woodfall Temple to down here. Which is what we want, because it's very quick to get.
Well, they really did make massive changes in this version, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. And this is when, for speedrunning, it's so much better.
Well, I enjoyed your Majora's Mask pausa moment.
Yeah, so it's annoying I have to do it 3 times, but...
I mean, you know, easy first time every time.
Yeah. So I need to make sure to activate this owl statue.
What was it, 60% of the time it works every time?
Absolutely. So now we need to go back. So now I want to go and get the Goron mask. If you played this game, you know what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to the swamp in the south, complete the swamp, complete Woodfall Temple, you get the bow, and the bow lets you go up north to go and get the Goron mask and do the second part. Luckily, when they made this game, they improved a lot of the textures, and one of the textures is around the entrance to the mountain area. And if we're very careful, we can jump on top of it. As long as this one goes well. And the shielding does nothing, it's just to keep my fingers busy. like that. And then we can just walk around this big block of ice and get into the mountain. Ow.
Just rude.
It is.
I feel like those enemies are particularly rude in every Zelda game.
I actually don't like my health much right now. Didn't really want to read that sign. I'll grab a fairy here now, because I've got to do another trick in about a minute. Which, again, I didn't put into the document, because when I wrote the document, I wasn't doing it. I only started doing it the other day, which is a great time to learn a trick before you go into a marathon, I know.
It's fine, just swing it. It'll be alright.
Yeah, so backwalking on snow is very annoying. It's safe. I will very quickly play it safe and grab this bad boy by here. We gotta go get... Unfortunately, we have to go get the Lens of Truth. We don't really have much choice, because you needed to get the Goron Mask. If we could skip it, it would save a fair amount of time. But, unfortunately... There's a little jump you can do across there, but I've decided I don't want to try my luck.
Dingle is here, just because, you know.
Just reminding you that he's ever constantly there.
So if I can not be bad at video games, which would be impressive feat I'm aware, I can jump across to an invisible platform by here. Without reading the sign, ideally. Like that.
Nicely done.
Because those invisible platforms are there whether you talk to the owl or not. Which is very handy. It doesn't save that much time, it just means you don't have to talk to the owl and then jump across a few of the statues, a few of the platforms. Then I need to equip this. And for some reason in this game, and only this game, because they didn't make the change in Ocarina of Time, when you're climbing, if you mash B, you climb quicker. So that's normal climbing, and that's mashing B climbing. And it's not explained anywhere in the game. It doesn't come up once. There's no like helpful hint box. It's literally just you just out of habit might mash B and then go, oh, that's quicker. Interesting. Guess I'll do that then. So yeah, we got another long cutscene now if you have any more donations.
I'm just having a look and refreshing. This loaded strangely. Apologies. I want to make sure that I'm not reading something that has gone out before. Gosh. So I'm just going to talk about the incentives we have here for just a moment. I hope that is all right. So we do have multiple incentives open, including one for, well, these are bid wars, including one for the BS, Legend of Zelda, to choose the character. The girl character is in a healthy lead at $251.30, and the boy character lagging very far behind at $10. So if you feel strongly about that, do get your donations in. It looks like we now have a contender here for the Samurai Jack outfit choice. Samurai Future Armor is still in the lead at $90, but Stage's choice, which is switching between the Samurai Future Armor and the Samurai Gi, is now sitting at $70. So it is only $20 behind. It would not take much to push that one over into the lead. And then, of course, the Samurai Gi option at $0. That one's my favorite, though.
Sort of playful.
And then finally, of course, for Super Monkey Ball, we have the Monkey Choice open, and Mimi is in the lead at $10, so would not take very much at all to push it over to Gon Gon Baby or Ai. For those of you who feel strongly about monkeys. People did seem to feel strongly about monkeys in the chat earlier.
Understandable. Yeah, you can just memorize the route through here. It's not too bad. Nope, I went to leave without talking to her then. Yeah, so we do need to do a battle focus. We need to go to the swamp, get the Song of Soren, and then we need to go get the Goro Mask, and then we need to come back. It is actually quicker to do it that way than stay in the swamp and do all this, and then go get the Goro Mask. Because warping takes barely any time at all. But it's worth noting, if you do this with the Goron Mask, these witches are very particular in that they will only talk to Human Link.
Gotta give that raspberry jam to the other witch.
Oh yes, and then we have a trick which I hope goes right first time. Did I go too far over? No, I didn't. I should have trusted myself then. I was like, I was right, and then I was like, what if I wasn't though? But I was. I'm always right, so I don't know why I questioned it.
I'm always left.
Okay, so that I picked up a stick, one stick and one Deku Nut. And I will need them in just a moment. For another frame perfect trick, which I'm not going to home buffer. A, because home buffering is risky, and B, because it's quicker to not home buffer it. But it is 3 frame perfect tricks in a row, so it can be a little tricky. So I'll try and do it first, then I'll explain it. Or Rick can explain it whilst I... No, not that. That.
So I believe that this is going to be the bottle duping.
Yep. I just accidentally picked up another stick.
So what Jags is doing here is by pressing the button to drop whatever he catches in the bottle, a frame later, by pressing an item, it will then duplicate an empty bottle into the slot where the item is. So he'll lose the lens, the nuts, and the sticks, but get 4 bottles, which he's going to need for Zora eggs later on in the game. So the bottle duping is why the wrong warp works, and hence why we have no wrong warp on the run.
2. Perfect. So yeah, if you're ESS turning, and it's only if you're ESS turning, which is holding the control stick down, so only so far that you actually turn without pressing a button. Actually, I'm going to quickly save here, because I don't trust this trick as much as I would like. I also left out quick camera. So normally, when you grab the camera from this witch, she takes you on a nice tour. If you're standing really far back, though, it doesn't activate for some reason. Which is fine, because I don't need to go to the Swamp Palace yet. Yeah, so that bottle duping, if you dupe over a mask, specifically the Gibdo mask, and then catch hot spring water, the game goes into a really weird state, and depending where you stood on the map, you can wrong warp. I don't know why it works. That's not what to press. But it is very handy because in the old any percent and now all dungeons, you just wrong warp to the last 2 dungeons, which is the mountain dungeon and the water dungeon. But we are banned from using wrong warp, so instead I'm going to enter the dungeons normally. Not complete them normally, but enter them normally. Perfect. So that was Great Bay early. We have to stand in a very specific spot on that one fence, drop a bomb behind us, and then jump to said bomb. Thank you. And then we can jump over the fence to the Great Bay, which avoids us getting Epona. So we don't rescue Horsey in this run. It means we
Sorry
get the
to all
Zora
the
mask.
horse fans.
Sorry, horse fans. As you can see, we're basically halfway through the first day and we've done no dungeons. All we've done is grab some masks. So you might be thinking like, ooh! Especially because I imagine, I'm not sure what time it is right now. Probably about 40 minutes in, I would have thought. Something along those lines. And you're looking at the time and you're like, oh, you haven't got that long to finish the game, Jags. But trust me, this bit of the run is the longest by far. But actually doing the dungeons is very much one after the other. Very slow walk up. Very handy in a speedrun, by the way. Love it.
Must take up time.
Yeah, this is a 2-minute cutscene. Or a minute and a half cutscene. You have
Well,
loads of time.
that is fantastic news because we actually have all kinds of donations. I just had to verify something here. So is it all right if I begin reading them?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, Jason LaRose sent in $500.
Wow.
And it says, like I said at the start of this marathon, chat rules don't let me express exactly how displeased I am with the Roe v. Wade being overturned, but hopefully this donation helps out. I leave the donation incentives in the capable hands of Sporadic. Be an agent of chaos. Thank you for your incredible generosity there, Jason LaRose. Thank you so, so much.
That was incredible. Thank you so much.
Indeed, thank you.
And if we have time, I have more donations here.
Yeah, go ahead.
All
See, we got
right,
ages
well,
yet.
yeah, all right. Woo Squad sent in $5 and said, because abortion is a basic healthcare right. I absolutely agree. Thank you so much. And every donation counts here at Fastest Furs for abortion rights. So do remember that even $5 is enough to change one of those bid wars. And so yeah, anyway. So sorry. I got distracted in the middle of donation reading by my cat. Huge apologies.
Quite all right.
We have another anonymous donation for $70. No comment at all, just generosity. Thank you so, so much, Anon.
Okay,
He has a
so
very cute cat.
I need to rearrange my items a bit a second. So I need to do that there, that there, that there, and there, that there, that there, that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, because that cutscene that plays the first time you put on a mask doesn't play if you go from one transform to the other. So I'm going to go from the Goron now to the other ones, because it skips me looking at myself screaming. And now we need to go. Now we need to go get those Zora eggs, and luckily enough, I now have 4 bottles to do it. so I don't need to go get other bottles.
Yeah, to be honest, skipping over the transformation cutscenes is probably doing everyone a favour, because we don't need those nightmares.
Yep, so we've got one trick now, which has been very unkind to me in the past. So if I get it first time, I want some real poggers. Oop. Trying not to get caught here. It happens more often than I would like to admit. No. There we go. Perfect. So that's called a mask jump, and that abuses the fact that if I press a button and hold a mask button down, because the mask takes a frame later to activate, the game goes to put me in an attack animation, then goes, you can't attack, you just put on a mask. So he goes into like a freefall state instead. And that lets us get into here without going through the sewers. I'm just going to casually attack some people with my Zora fins. And then do some punching. And I'm going to attempt to do another time stop, but using bottles instead. Perfect, actually. It never goes that well. So that, if you jump in the air and then press a transformation mask button, the transformation mask buttons, by the way, are very broken, and then land on the ground with your shield out, it stores it. So if I then let go of the shield button, I would have transformed. If I then jump it backwards in the air again, but this time I press a bottle button just as I'm landing, it locks the camera in first person view and we get to skip another cutscene. And now we have the hook shot, the most broken item in the game. Which I will wait to explain after I use it once. I'm sure people will be very confused as to how it works. And then I'll explain it afterwards, but not quite yet. First of all, I need to get a slightly precise jump off. Ah. Okay. Not a problem. Okay, I'll do it the other way. So yeah. If I hadn't messed that up, it would have let me get into that section earlier, but I can go around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a nice picture of that door, because I like it. And then I'm going to do this. So that is called the Goron Missile. And basically, if I, for reasons known to nobody, basically, if you go into camera mode, and then swap your items around, you go into what's called a restricted items state. And restricted items lets you use items you shouldn't be able to, like using hookshot as Goron. If you then use the hookshot, and then do a ground pound whilst moving forward, you like shoot off with an insane amount of speed. First time? Yes, okay, that's fine. That one is surprisingly difficult to get.
Easy first time, every time.
Some stuff has been not so easy first time, but some stuff has been fine.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you've gotten everything on the first time so far. It's been great.
Even the mistakes were on purpose, it was fine.
That's right.
What part of the show?
So I'm going to do the old method of getting to that last one because I couldn't get the side jump off for some reason. So yeah, that is very quick. Using the Goron missile is an absurdly good bit of speedrun tech, and it's very easy to do. If wonderful viewers at home wish to do glitches in their casual Majora's Mask run, all you need is a hook shot and some quick fingers.
I think that's a good point to actually say. Like, if people want to have a go at this, it's the level of entry isn't necessarily as hard as some people might think.
No, some stuff I wouldn't recommend until you've done a bit of practice, but certainly Goron missile is so easy to do. It's like the item side in Wind Waker. Once you've done it once, you're like, oh, that's really easy. Now we need to do the Eggy drop off. Which is very interesting, as you can imagine.
Riveting. Well, this is a good time. I do have another donation here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, Devio XS sent in $49.80 and says, reproductive rights are so important. I'm glad this event exists and makes it clear. Thank you so much for your generosity. And I saw that one went into one of our polls. In fact, it went into the Super Monkey Ball Monkey Choice. So now II is in the lead at $49.80.
Good old II. A big thank you to everyone who does donate. It's a very worthy cause, and anything that you can spare is very much appreciated. And thank you so much for joining us as well.
So there, I got into Pinnacle Rock by just using a Goron missile to get across. Just casual Goron missiling about the place. And this bit, as long as you memorize the route, you can just go through. Like that. You see me like using the motion controls, because motion controls are much quicker to use than buttons, which means I might be throwing my 3DS about a bit, especially during like some of the later boss fights.
Certainly, it came in handy when using the bow and arrow on these games.
Oh yes. Really? And by there. Thank you. Here's one. Right, I said about the wrong warp, and we used the bottles. There is another wrong warp we can do in this game, and it takes us straight to the moon. In the any % category, what you do is you do first cycle, and then you do a particular setup, and you just straight away warp to the moon. It's about 40-minute category at the moment. Which I think 25 minutes is prepping for it. So now out of, well, very nearly out of what I call like the first half of the run, like the early part of the game, where it's essentially just about setting up, ready to do the dungeons. So we have to go get the Sonata of Awakening to get into Woodfall now, but then after that is a straight shot all the way through all the dungeons. Just 3 more little eggies to drop off.
If people remember the game Seaman on the Sega Dreamcast, but it kind of reminds me of the very first stage of Seaman before he hatches.
Oh, that game.
Yes, with Leonard Nimoy.
With
Yeah, it had the Star Trek guy doing the voiceover for it.
very nice.
Very strange game.
I believe it.
Exceedingly strange game. You know, it's kind of in the same wheelhouse as this one, though.
Very much. Same time period as well. Both of them released about this time. This old guy creeps me out.
Same. Gives you eyes in the Ocarina of Time.
I have not really seen an NPC that doesn't creep me out yet, actually.
That's fair. That's fair. Just do it. Stretch out.
That's right, it's a little stretch break for everybody. This is a good time.
Yeah, it's about to get a bit busier, so to speak. Oh, without deafening everyone by bashing my microphone, ideally. So, we gotta head back to the swamp again for the 3rd time now. And the last, I promise. Just need to rearrange a few things again. Bottle I got, that bottle there. Which bottle I have is very important. Because although I never get another Lens of Truth, so I'll have 2 bottles permanently, but the nuts and sticks will be used later on in the run. So I need to catch some water by here to hydrate, because hydrating is very important.
Especially with the recent weather that we've been having.
Oh, yes.
And I've already made it through the first of my 2 glasses of tea that I had prepared for this.
Yeah, so I can just use a Goron Missile to get past those things. And get into the Deku Palace. I should have got some magic as well, really. Never mind. It's not the worst thing in the world, it's just a bit more of a pain in the butt when I get to the next skip. Why did I talk to that? What? Stop it! Don't get caught, don't get caught, don't get caught. Thank you! So here I can just, as long as I don't mess up, jump on top of this door frame, and then jump on top of this. Don't hit me out there, don't hit me out there, please. Thank you! Normally if I have magic, I'll just, like, blast that guy to stop him trying to hit me. Because I have fallen down there before and it's very annoying.
Getting hit with puns in the chat here.
Charity. Very nice. I wholeheartedly approve of that
So
one.
when you have a tea while you're doing a speed run.
I used to bring a big flask of tea up with me when I was doing speedruns. And then I realised it was a diuretic, which is very bad for speedrunning.
Yep.
Say no to the monkey. Get back in your super monkey ball. Wait for it. He's like, play very quietly, and then I take out a set of bagpipes. And I'm like, da, da, da.
Essentially, just bass boost it.
Yeah, it's not exactly quiet. He's there like, right, really quiet now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Hit me with the Undertale puns now, help! I'm powerless in the face of this assault. I was about to say something about the proud tradition of monkeys in Zelda games, but...
So now we're set up. We've got all the songs we need, because we only need 2 songs to get into dungeons. We've got all the masks we need. We've got all the items we need except the bow. We're over halfway through, although it doesn't feel like it should be. But we do have the most difficult trick in the run coming up. And I call it the most difficult, not because it's actually the most difficult, but it's the one that goes wrong the most for me. I need to go back to Clocktown. Which you think would be weird, because you think I'm right next to the swamp and I need to go into the first dungeon. So you think, being right next to it, I would just head straight over. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to head into this fairy fountain by here. And then I'm going to do something called a Fairy Fountain Alternative Escape, which is a very weird name.
This be an alright time for a donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, well, we had an $80 donation come in from an anonymous donor who says, good luck to all the fantastic runners of the event as we continue the fight for our rights. Thank you to everyone for their support. Less than 3. Thank you so much, Anon, for that donation. And as it was pointed out in chat, we are now incredibly close to $3,500 raised for the Midwest Access Coalition. Only $51 away from that. You could be the one to put us over the top.
So yeah, the fairy fountains are all on the same map. So you can use the Goron missile to just hop between them. Which is why I can just get out here, and then I'll use it again later on to get to Icana Canyon.
Oh my gosh, if it's alright, I also want to point out that the Anon put that dono towards the Samurai Jack outfit choice towards the Samurai Gi, so now it is just about a neck-and-neck race for those choices. Stage's choice at $70, Samurai Future Armor in the lead at $90, and Samurai Gi in second place at $80. So it would not take a very large donation for an upset there. And I'm rooting for that Gi.
So yeah, using the Goron missile, we can pretty much just break this dungeon. I think my PB has a combined length of about 5.5 minutes. So you just hop across here and just go straight to the bow. Like that. And then we have the trick I am dreading the most, because it goes wrong so often. So, we don't actually need to go into another room of this dungeon, in theory. I can just go from here straight to the boss room, hopefully. Not like that, I can't. Nope, too far. And that's why I was like, it's very fiddly. You need to be very precisely positioned to do it. So... Nope. Yeah, so it's a very finicky one to do, because essentially the Goron Missile I'm doing will give me enough height to get up to the second story, but enough distance to get into the loading zone for the boss. Unfortunately, it's very finicky. Ah. And the backup is going to get the boss key, which I don't really want to do, so we shall try again. That was hopeless. Yeah, I'm on. Speed, I don't think. Nope, landed on the edge again. I mean, I could do it off the other flower. It's slightly riskier, but it's actually slightly easier as well. I need to get some health as well, actually.
All right, well, do you need it quiet for concentration purposes? Would it be okay to read some donations here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, well, you all being so incredibly generous right now. This random person I've never heard of before, Rick McLeod, sent in $52. Who is this person?
Is that?
You all know Rick McLeod? Thank you so much for your donation. And Woo Squad sent in $11.10. It says, because why not? And because the host wants this gi outfit. And I'll tell you what, you both were so kind. The samurai gi is now in a healthy lead at $143.10. So thank you so much. And I do want to point out that did indeed push us over $3,500 raised for the Midwest Access Coalition. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Yes, you see that after a couple of tries I managed to get it, and it basically took me straight to the boss room. It is a very finicky trick, because the loading zone I'm hitting is essentially that door that's in front of me. So you need to be very precisely angled with a very precise speed. It's very difficult, which is why I spent an hour practicing it this morning. But the boss is very trivial. I'd say that because we grabbed the heart containers there. It is safer, definitely, because the final boss of this game is one of the most difficult of the Zelda series. But also, it takes a while for that loading zone to actually load. So we would just stand in the loading zone waiting anyway if we didn't grab that heart container. So you may as well. And now we have a bunch of cutscenes. So you have this cutscene, and then we have another one as soon as you leave the dungeon. And then we have 2 more in a row, because I'm going to the Great Bay Temple next, which, if you're not familiar, is the 3rd dungeon, so we're going 1st, 3rd, 4th, and then 2nd last.
What is happening? I'm sorry, I just... Majora's Mask, why?
It's just a face with legs.
Yeah, you know.
Sings pretty well.
I'd say, you know, the whole game is a fever dream, and it is. It is. It's a nightmare, so...
He has a bunch of mates that become very useful later on in the story of the game.
Yeah, so we get the Oath to Order now, which we will need. Although, there are categories where you don't finish all the dungeons, but you only need to finish Wood 4, like all masks. And you get Oath to Order, and it's just a waste of time, because you don't need it. So worth about, in fairness, that my PB, which is a 154, I lost 2 minutes to that Wood 4 boss key skip as well, so it's not entirely off track yet.
I dare someone to set this as their ringtone.
Just have it as your voicemail message.
Set it for your alarm. Wake up to that every morning.
Leave a message after the
Oh, I'm getting hit by the puns in the chat here. More of them, Wiggy.
Wiggy.
I got. I have a very random question. Because I have been... It's funny. Somebody mentioned Undertale, and Temmie Chang has been playing this game. One of the main artists working on Undertale and Deltarune. And so I was wondering if in this particular run if we do the marriage saving, or if that's something that you skip.
We definitely skip it, though it is done in all masks, because you do need it. All masks and 100% are the only 2 that use it. There is a meme category called All Star Fox masks, because you can get masks that represent all the Star Fox characters.
What a fantastic category.
I'm totally all for that. No bias whatsoever.
I haven't run it yet. In fact, I barely rooted it out. But you do need to do part of the marriage quest to get it, because you get the Kita mask for it.
Oh my goodness, the puns in here are ingenious.
Gee puns.
Need to take a little swim over to Turtle Dude.
If you
I'm
play
also-
Smash
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you play Smash Brothers, you might recognise this stage as well.
Which one is it in again?
I think it's in Melee. Or Melee, or however you pronounce it.
Who pronounces it mealy?
Mealy is like a bad apple that you don't want to eat.
Exactly.
Melee, then.
Smash Brothers mealy.
Super Smash Brothers Golden Delicious.
Oh, it's so true! Oh, Red Delicious is the worst!
Yeah, we got another long cutscene here, because there is a way of skipping it, but I tried to practice it yesterday to see if I could put it in, and I couldn't get it. So I was like, probably not the safest.
Alright, well, while I tell everybody all about the charity, I want to hear about everybody's favorite apples in the chat. That's what I would like to see in chat. Team Fastest Furs is raising money for the Midwest Access Coalition. The Midwest Access Coalition is a practical abortion fund that helps people traveling to, from, and within the Midwest United States seeking access to safe abortion. They assist with travel coordination and costs, lodging, food, medicine, childcare, and emotional support services. Their work is now more important than ever, so please consider donating today if you are able. You can learn more on their website, www.midwestaccesscoalition.org, by following their Twitter account at Midwest Access, or by typing !charity in chat. And my favorite type of apple is a Fuji apple.
My
Can we
favorite
talk
type of
about-
apple is cider.
Moon has said that in the chat, and I would have to agree.
Cider Smash Brothers. Jazz apples. Granny Smith apples. I like Granny Smith apples if you mix them with some other apples and bake them in a pie.
Oh, yes.
Fun fact, if you have not baked an apple pie before, you need to mix 2 types of apples for a nice pie.
Okay, so the last dungeon, if I got a trick right first time, not that I like to dwell on such things, was pretty quick. Where, you know, I just hopped across. This dungeon, getting to the boss zone, even quicker. Because I could do it from the entrance. So I just need to set up and do a Goron missile, and I should shoot straight into the boss loading zone. Hopefully. There's a chance I go out of bounds, but it doesn't take very long if I mess it up. A wave bye-bye. See you later. And he's just watching me whilst I roll back and suddenly disappear off the map.
I love the sea turtle, actually, like... The accuracy's pretty great. Apart from the, like, big wooby-woo eyes that we talked about.
Okay, I got it right first time. So we're straight in the boss zone. And this one you'll see me throwing the 3DS about, because I need to track Guile because he's circling around me. And this is a boss they changed majorly for the 3DS remake, because they added an entire second phase that wasn't in the original. Which could either be very quick, which would be nice, or I can lose a bunch of time because it's RNG based.
Okay, that's terrifying.
I'm afraid to say, get used to it.
I have not gotten used to it!
As a kid, I was terrified of Gyog. I just could not beat him. At all. In fact, I still don't think to this day I've ever finished Majora's Mask, the original.
What is the purpose of that eye? What is the evolutionary purpose?
So you can see what your food tastes like.
Okay, so RNG phase. So I have to detach mines in order to deal damage to him. And where these mines pop up is luck-based. So either he could appear really far away from one and I have to wait a cycle, or he appears right next to one and I can go straight for it. So yeah, just right now I just gotta wait for him. He's gonna...
Squad.
I was just going to say a Woo Squad's pun in the chat.
Boss is on a seafood diet.
Might work. I don't think it's gonna work. I think it took too long. Yeah, I was too far away. Yeah, so those mines, if they're too far away, it's just you have to wait it out, annoyingly. That might be okay. Yeah, so then he eats the mine and complodes. Go on, stop right there. Go on, go on. Yes! Good boy. And I think my PB in this, he stopped right in front of a mine 3 times in a row. Yeah, like, I will never get luck that good again.
The thing I never understood with video game bosses, why is it they always want to inhale bombs and things?
I mean, you're kind of tricking them, right? Like, they wouldn't be going for it naturally. Especially this boss living in a thing full of bombs.
But
Somehow managed to not eat the bombs until you showed up, so...
you'd think he'd know where they are if they were living there.
You're just not expecting somebody to drop kick them down your throat, right?
He's like, ouch, spicy berry.
He's sushi now.
Yeah, so not a very long dungeon. Which probably for the best, because doing that dungeon properly, like in 100%, is the worst dungeon. This is the longest one by far. Except maybe like parts of Stone Tower Temple. If you play this game casually, you'll know the next section. You're supposed to do a bunch of stuff. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get the Gibdo mask, go to the bottom of the well, get the mirror shield, use the mirror shield, go to Icana Castle, get the Elegy of Emptiness from the castle, and then climb Stone Tower Temple with that. So, you know, it's supposed to be a fairly hefty section. And I think in Glitchless, obviously where you do all that, it does take a fair amount of time. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to go straight up. So, first of all, I need to do a Fairy Fountain escape to get over to Stone Tower Temple. And then I'm going to do a Goron Missile to climb straight to the top. And then I'm just going to do a couple of tricks to get through the dungeon without needing the Mirror Shield.
I was waiting to hear you say that you weren't going to do any of that, and you did not disappoint me. Excellent.
Good. I have no idea how many times I've missed that platform. So we do that, whoop, only bombs.
Alright, how would you feel about a donation right now?
Wild.
Alright, well, Moonblaze Wolf sent in $5. It says, hey, Sporadic, how do you like them apples? Winky face. And that donation actually went towards the Samurai Future Armor, so I don't like them apples! I don't like them apples, Moonblaze Wolf, however... Other folks were quite generous, so the Samurai Geese still has that healthy lead. At 143.10, we got the Samurai Future Armor in second place at $95, and Stage's Choice in third at $70.
Now for the best soundtrack in all of Zelda. Contentious opinion. Perfect. So yeah, I get a huge amount of height with such a short Goron Missile, and it lets me just fall straight into the front of Stone Tower Temple. And go on in. And then I'll drop a quick save at the entrance, because I don't trust myself, because it could go wrong. There's going to be a lot of safety saves. Not as many safety saves as I thought I was going to use this run, but I will continue to use them, because I am a paranoid fox. Right, so that bottle of water I took earlier has a very special purpose. If I just dump it here... it gets rid of this block. I don't know why. You're supposed to use the mirror shield to get rid of it, and you're supposed to have gone all the way around the dungeon first. But for some reason that works. And it's very lucky it does, because it saves us a bunch of time.
Obviously, the block is a witch.
That was some excellent swimming. Okay, that failed. Okay, so I'm going to do... I'm going to use restricted items. Instead of a Goron Missile, I'm going to use it to put on the Deku Mask. And because I'm a Deku in water, it'll immediately go to put me at the highest point it can. Which is very handy, because the highest point it can put me there is the entrance to that, which is very handy. And then I'm going to put on the Goron Mask here, because there's another very handy little thing that has put in this game, where if you jump into water without changing your XY coordinates, for some reason the game thinks that something's gone wrong, and it puts you back at the entrance to the room. Just a little safety feature they put in, which we use. And now, another slightly finicky Goron Missile to get through another block. Like that. And I'm going to attempt to do a Deku slide here. That didn't work. Okay. There's no point trying it more than once. Essentially, you can use a Deku Flower Slide to get through that wall, but it's only really worth trying it once. If I get it wrong once, I just go around the long way. It doesn't really take much time. Yeah, we can get the light arrows in about 3 minutes from the entrance to the dungeon, which is pretty good. And casually, this boss is a very big pain, but if you know the speedrun strat, it's pretty easy. That's a glitch. That is a glitch from Majora's Mask, the original one, actually. If you watch a cutscene, the camera locks elsewhere. It's very weird. So now I've done that, I need to get into the boss chamber. And luckily enough, that is also very easy. I say. I am very quickly going to go grab another fairy, though, for safety. Because I've fallen victim to only having one before in the Majora fight, and now is the best time to do it. I also need some magic. And these jumps, for some reason, sometimes Link doesn't actually jump properly across them and you just fall. Like they space them slightly too far apart. So I'm in the Upside Down Temple, and you might be thinking, oh, you have to go around, use the light arrows, do a bunch of puzzles, go get the boss key, and the answer's no. No, I don't. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll my way over here. And I want you to pay attention to the bottom screen. And you can see me moving over very slowly. What I'm doing is I've gained a stupid amount of height. But luckily enough, the boss chamber for this game extends down. So what I can do is I can use this height and I get a bunch of time. I can just fall. I can direct myself whilst I'm falling. And I can fall into the boss loading zone like that. Which is very handy. Also, that was really quick. I've waited like a minute to fall there before, depending on how much height I have. So I need to undercut my mask.
Why do they all spit the eyeballs out?
I need to watch the other twin moles, because he will attack me and he does 2 hearts of damage, which is a lot when I only have 5 hearts. And as Rick will remember from the other day, I can very easily die to that.
This is one of the trickier bosses.
It is the most difficult boss in the game by a fair margin, actually. Is he going to come back round? Right.
Yeah, Majora, if you can get them into a certain animation, you can sort of stun lock them. Whereas this one, it is just a case of, I'm not going to say spray and pray, but it certainly is keeping your eyes on their eyes, I guess.
Okay, that was a really good first phase, because I didn't get
Keep
hit.
an eye out.
The eyes have it.
Right, and before I do anything else, I'm going to Song of Double Time to day 3. For 2 reasons. A, because I need to be more towards the end of the game, because remember I said at the beginning about like how much time I've got? I actually have so much time, even without using the song to slow down time, that I actually need to move time forward in order to be able to enter the tower. Because the glitches speed up the game so much that the second cycle is actually too long, and you actually need to try and cut down on time. And to get into the 3rd dungeon for one of the other most difficult tricks in the run, I need to be able to do it during the daytime. I can't do it at night. Now, if you've played this game, and one of the biggest complaints I remember about this game was that this boss takes too long. And that's because they put in a system they never talk about. If you spin the control stick whilst you're spinning him to do that damage, it deals more damage, like fighting Bowser in Super Mario 64. So you just basically need to spin around to hit him. It's never explained in the game. It just so happens that we found it. And it means you can defeat him in 3 cycles instead of 4. That's going to hurt me, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to wait a second. Because you only get 2 rocks, so you need to do 1 cycle of like just punching the ever-living bejesus out of him. And then 2 cycles of throwing rocks at him. But if you throw those rocks out of bounds, they're gone forever. You cannot like get another one. They don't respawn or anything. And I don't really know why, to be fair, but games just thought they'd be cruel. So I need to be very careful about how I throw them. And I also didn't take any damage during this fight, I don't think. Which is actually pretty rare. Yeah, normally it takes about 4 or 5 cycles to defeat him, but I could spin in the control stick a bunch. We get him in 3, which is fine, because you do 1 cycle of punching and then 2 of throwing things at him, which is very delicious. And now I have another set of long cutscenes. If we got any more donations.
I'm just under constant attack by the puns in the chat. Ugh. All right. Those of us at Team Fastest First believe strongly that everyone everywhere should have access to a safe and legal abortion. Unfortunately, that right is currently under attack in the United States in the places where many of us live. Because of this, we are proud to support Midwest Access Coalition this weekend. As an example of how important the work organizations like Midwest Access Coalition is now, the state of Illinois alone is expected to see an estimated 30,000 new abortion seekers as a result of the overturning of Roe v. Wade in the United States. Please consider donating today if you're able. Type out !donate in chat or check out the donation panel below the stream. How are we doing? Do we still have some time here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, of course, this marathon is being put on by Team Fastest Furs. Team Fastest Furs is about more than just marathons and more than just speedrunning. It's a welcoming community of furries and the furry friendly, where you can make new friends and get to know people with similar interests. We host community events and showcases throughout the year and are always looking for new ideas for fun. To join our Discord, please use the command !Discord in chat.
So, we're on our way to the 4th dungeon now, and just ahead of the entrance to this dungeon is one of the most difficult tricks in the run, because it's very difficult to time. So if I mess it up, I will go like this, because I hate doing it. We basically have to, if you are familiar with the game, you know that we're supposed to get the Goron Lullaby to put the big Goron to sleep, otherwise he blows you off the mountain. And we need to do a glitch to deactivate being affected by that. And then we need to very slowly climb up to Stone Tower Temple. Not Stone Tower Temple, up to Snowhead Temple. They begin with an S, it's basically the same dungeon. But first of all, I need to remember to get a Deku Stick. Must not forget. Very important. So I'm going to drop a safety save here, because I love safety saves. They're my favourite kind of saves. So I can go from here over to there. As long as they don't fall in. Perfect. I can go from here to there, which will take me to the back of Snowhead's dungeon entrance. And yep, first time. You always get blown off the first time, basically. And Tattle's like, "What are you doing, you moron?" And I'm going to ignore her and keep going anyway. Perfect. So that was called a ledge jump. And the way it works... Yeah. That's going to hit me in there. Whoa! Ah, no.
Oh,
That was
no.
very bad. I could see it coming. I was like, "Oh no, I mistimed it." Oh, yeah, so the way the ledge jump works is I can still be hit by, well, by the snowballs, but the wind no longer affects me. Not sure why one is true and not the other, but it does mean we get to just walk up to the entrance. But it is very difficult. I'm actually wait here a second to see if the other one comes down.
Do you have the definition of madness in the chat? Keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Yep.
Or is it insanity? It's insanity, sorry.
I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to wait for another one to come down because I refuse to fail this trick twice. Okay. If it was a normal run, I would just be like, "I'm going to go for it," and I've paid for that too many times. My hubris has been punished before now.
Nice marathon save strats.
I can feel all the tech leads and all the timers being like, "Yep, good idea." So I'm going to do another trick now, which is a nice, safe one that we like, called action swapping. And it gives us a free fire arrow, which is nice. Essentially, if you press a Deku stick the same frame that you press A to interact with an actor, it just gives you a free fire stick for some reason, which is very nice. And we're going to use it twice now, but first of all, I need to climb up to the top of Stone Tower Temple. I said Stone Tower then, didn't I? A Snowhead Temple. And the first thing I need to do is hookshot up to there, which is more difficult than you'd think, really. And then I'm going to get to this ramp by here, and then, shocker, I'm going to use a Goron Missile to get out of bounds. Like I have for every boss key skip, actually. Yeah, it turns out Goron Missile, really, really powerful trick. For just, like, getting out of bounds and doing stuff. And hopefully that'll put me straight into the boss loading zone. I might need to fall a bit more. Oh, falling way too far over. Game. So you can see my cursor on the bottom of the map, and it's very difficult to control, but there we go. So now, I didn't get the fire arrows, but you can see that the boss is encased in ice. So I need to do another thingamabob, what I was just saying. You know the one. But this time, I need to interact with Tattle to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the clock to be 12 o'clock, which is the time when the tower opens. Because I need it to be 12 o'clock anyway, so I may as well do 2 for 1 and set the time over to there. Item's the wrong way around. And that fire arrow will break got out, which means I can skip getting the fire arrows, which is very handy. And now, there is a method of doing this fight quickly. So hopefully, we get that right.
About trying to keep him in the sweet spot then, and so you can just keep on attacking.
Yeah, so we have to... That's looking good. That's going to hit me. Thank you. I shouldn't need those arrows. Perfect. Good.
Very nice.
Yeah, basically, we just use arrows to keep him down. And now we are on the very final point. And we need to go handle Majora, really.
This is endgame now, folks.
So now we have another set of very long cutscenes, where I normally call the bathroom break section, because it's when I normally run off, because we've got about a 4-minute cutscene. Don't worry, I won't do that today. I mean, it's very handy in longer categories. Especially all masks, when you have to do a fair bit on the moon. Yeah, it's just down to beating at Majora now. Anyway, I don't know how much of the ending cutscenes I'll get in. Depends what time my run finishes. But we find out that the four giants were friends with Skull Kid, and this is why they're like, forgive your friend, because it's their friend. They're forgiving because he's causing trouble. Because he didn't get enough attention, which is a sentiment I agree with wholeheartedly. I too cause trouble when I don't get attention.
I mean, at least you're honest about it. My cat is
All
the
my
same way.
all my friends should know by now. Yeah, the Gorons were cold, by the way. I don't think we interacted with a single Goron, but by the way, the Gorons were cold.
Not anymore, now that we're enjoying the toasty summertime, I guess.
Oh yes. And now we're in the point where it's like, oh, final point of the cycle, which is some of the most eerie music of the game, which is very cool.
In
And
fact,
the moon is like right there.
to counter your point earlier on, I would probably say this is probably one of my favourite Zelda tracks.
Oh, just like
the
the spooky, yeah.
The atmosphere it sets up is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, he does say sister, didn't he? Alright.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've played this hundreds of hours of this game and didn't pick up on that. In fact, I'm not really reading the text much.
Text. Yeah, you gotta go fast.
Experiencing a little bit of deja vu.
I mean, it would be more deja vu if I'd actually gone back in time even once, but it turns out I didn't really need to. And now we stretch out because we got a nice 3-minute cutscene, which I don't need to be holding the console for.
Very nice time to remind everybody to have a stretch, especially if you've been watching this whole run.
Have a nice big stretch, get some water, bathroom break quickly before we do the Majora fight. Which, if anyone's ever played this game before, they probably struggled with, and they're like, how does a speedrunner do it? And my answer is normally badly, but hopefully we can do some stun locking and keep him down. Now's a great time to say thank you to Fastest First for having me once again. I've done a few of their events now, and I'm always super happy to show off some of the games I've run. And hopefully we get even more in the future. Keep supporting these charities, keep on showing off all the hard work all these runners are putting into breaking games, in most cases. And I hope people have enjoyed how broken this game is, because this game is tremendously broken. If you've got a copy at home, and I sincerely hope you do, I would recommend trying some of these glitches the next time you play through, like Gora Missile, the most fun. I think it's a very, very fun run, and very complex. It does take a while to learn, but it is a very rewarding run. Especially some of the tricks when you get them right first time. For the first time, like climbing the stone tower first time, and you're like, oh wow, actually that's very satisfying.
Also wanted to say thank you as well for letting me tag along and put in some random little bits of humour. Well, hope so anyway. But also to say thank you for watching as well. Still got a little bit left on this run, and of course we've got some great runners coming up later on as well. And if you can help support a fantastic cause with anything you can, it will be very much appreciated.
Use time. Yep, so the giants hold up the moon, which is, I guess, a thing.
Doing leg day.
Absolutely, they have done leg day. Look at those thunder thighs going on by there. Whoa.
Very nice of them. Very nice of them.
I don't know what the plan was beyond this, though. Like, they all caught the moon, and then they're like, what do we do now? Are they going to push it
now
back up? Or... no, they're just like the four of them just carried it off.
Put your hands up in the air.
I don't know what the plan was, but they're like, right, we've stopped it. You're like, yeah, but we're kind of stuck.
They're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, push, but they skipped arm day, so.
And I am skipping the text really quickly, but basically, Tail is like, well, he's not a bad guy. He just, tried to destroy the entire continent. Subjective opinion. And it turns out Majora's Mask is its own thing.
Yeah, Majora is pretty cold.
You know when Happy Mask Salesman was like, oh, I probably shouldn't dig this up. It's very dangerous, and then digs it up anyway? This is why.
This game is just terrifying.
I know some speedrunners have like bits they do during this cutscene. Like I think one of them plays the piano whilst they wait for the cutscene to trigger.
Oh, sounds nice.
I'm gonna grab my ocarina and start learning it, ready for the cutscene. But I sounded very bad, so I decided against it.
Where did that mask go? Did it like go
It went into the moon.
into the moon? Okay,
Yeah.
I was wondering. It's like a little small for the moon's face. Did it just go land on the tooth or something? And I was like, oh, this is good. This is fine.
Takes you back to like 2015 brony culture, where they're like, to the moon.
Um,
So we're gonna head straight over. First of all, though, I'm gonna equip that mask because I need it. And we're gonna head into the fight, which is a very difficult fight. I should point out it is very. There's a lot of components. There's a lot to learn. So I'm gonna grab some arrows, and grab some magic, and start off. Because this fight is what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get all the masks in the game, all 24 masks, get the first deity mask, and just absolutely wipe the floor with this guy. And to be fair, it is a very easy fight in all masks, and 100%. But when you don't do that, the game tries to punish you by making the fight very difficult. So the first phase, we use the Zora Boomerang to stun him, and then Majora's canonically a her, use the Zora Boomerangs to stun her, and then use the light arrows to deal damage. But when those guys come off the walls, they're gonna be attacking me. So I need to be very aware of that happening. And now we're into the second phase, which is... I don't know which phase is the most difficult, this one or the one after, but this one is a pain in the butt because it can stun lock you, and it does about 4 hearts of damage, which would be fine, but I have 7 hearts. So I only really have 1 chance to take damage from it, which is why I bring backup fairies, because I can at least recover from it. But first of all, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take down these masks that are floating around, because they deal damage, which is annoying, and they do stuff like that when you're trying to defeat Majora. And that's Majora's stun lock.
Followed by Majora's moonwalk.
Yep.
Well, you are on the moon, to be fair, so I don't know what you want from me, really.
I wasn't ready.
So, to stun lock Majora, we need to Zora Boomerang. And miss the first one, nice. Nice. And now we're in phase 3, which could do a lot of damage, and that can stun lock. In fact, this one has stun locked me to death with a fairy. So I had full health, it stun locked me, I died, my fairy revived me, and then it continued stun locking me beyond it. But I can also stun lock it by punching it 15 times. Didn't get it. And then it'll be time as soon as I dealt the 15 blow. Right, that is a stun lock, which is very annoying. Right, so come on. 8, 9. And that's why we carry a Spear Fairy. Because Majora can just stun lock you, which is very annoying. Can you target him, please? Thank you. Eleven. $13. No, come on.
Majora's playing hard to get today.
Oh. Didn't do enough damage. Okay, fine. Oh, that should have been 15 then. Yeah, quite the tricksy little madam today, aren't you, Majora? And done. What time was that?
GG. I'm just a little behind here on the... Oh, have you got it?
It looks like 156.34.
Really? I did not expect it to be... I thought it was going to be about the 2 hour mark. Not bad, that's about 2 hours off PB, 2 minutes off PB, which isn't too bad.
There was a slight delay, sorry, 156 to 45, but still 156.
Yeah, there we go.
Not bad. If I'd gotten the wood... Again, my PB was 154, and I lost time to the fight and the Woodfall boss ski skip, which is exactly where I lost her again today.
No, I mean, it's excellent. You're underestimate. Very well done. GG's.
Excellent. Yes, again, thank you for having us. I imagine the tech guys are going to be gibbering with excitement to be ahead of schedule, so we're going to see a little bit of the cutscene, but
Always nice.
The cutscene's like 10 minutes long at the end, so there's no point trying to stick around for all of it. It does take a very long time.
Well, have you all both done all the shout-outs that you wanted to do?
Yeah, we're all happy, thank you. We're happy to end it there. Thank you for having us.
Indeed, thank you so much.